Okay, welcome to Friday Night Zoom for August 20th. And for those of you who are new, the way that we do the procedure, the process is we begin with 20 minutes of silent sitting. And then I'll give a short talk, and then afterwards we can have questions. You can either ask them with your microphone, or you can type them in the chat box, or you can send them. You could send them to me by email for me to answer in the future, like next week or the week after. I'm going to type my email address in the chat box. That way everyone can see where the chat box is, and you'll have my email address, which is sacredbreath108 at gmail.com, of course. Okay, and I'm and so I sent it in the chat box to everyone, but if you have a question that you want to type in, you don't have to send it to everyone. You can just send it to me. And if you want me to be discreet about the question, just indicate that in your question. We're here every Friday from 8 o'clock at 8 p.m. By Zoom, and it's free. And feel free to share this with your friends, neighbors, and acquaintances. It's for everyone. So we'll begin with closing my chat box. We'll begin with 20 minutes of silent sitting. And I think this week, what I'd like to do for the 20 minutes is some coherent breathing, which is where you breathe in for 4 seconds and then breathe out for 5. If 4 seconds is too long, you can breathe in for 3 seconds and then breathe out for 4. Or if you want to breathe in longer, you could breathe in for 5 and breathe out for 6. So you've probably figured out by now that the takeaway is you breathe out for 1 second longer than you breathe in. You breathe out, so you just count your inhale. Don't time it, because then you have to have your eyes open. So and this meditation is done with eyes closed, but just count your inhale, and then whatever you got, when you breathe out for 1 second longer. And you want it to be the same for the whole, essentially the same for the whole 20 minutes. In other words, 4 in, 5 out, 4 in, 5 out, 4 in, 5 out. You don't want to be doing 4 in, 5 out, 3 in, 4 out, 6 in, 7 out, 7 in, 8 out, 2 in, 3 out, right? You want to keep it constant as you can. As you relax and enter into a rested state, the timing might change. So if it changes from 4 to 5, 4 in, 5 out, and then 5 in, 6 out. If you do, the first 5 minutes are 4 in and then 5 out, and then you find yourself after you get rested, suddenly your inhale is taking 5 seconds to come in, then 6 seconds out, that's fine. if it just sort of naturally and organically changes as you sit for 20 minutes. You just don't want to be like frequent fluctuations. So the whole point of this is that what they have found is that when you exhale for a second longer than you inhale, it induces a state of relaxation and combats stress and anxiety, which is kind of like the whole purpose of these Friday night Zooms. So any meditation, I always tell people that you want to be comfortable, but not so comfortable that you fall asleep. You want to be comfortable enough that your body isn't in pain, and which has you thinking about your body rather than meditating, but not so comfortable that you fall asleep. And so, you don't have to be in a full lotus position. If that's comfortable for you, by all means. But just sitting in a chair is fine. It's recommended a stable chair with a nice full back that will support your back so that your spine can be, when you meditate, you want your spine to be relatively straight. Hands in your lap, just relax, just sort of a relaxed, stable posture. And your spine relatively erect so that you can just be comfortable with, but not slouching, which tends to make people fall asleep or induce sleepiness. And back up. And we begin with 3 deep breaths and dropping the events of the day. So I like to use the 3 deep breaths to come into the meditation as like a demarcation, a dividing line. Everything before the 3 breaths is my day. Everything after the 3 breaths is my meditation. I don't bring the problems of the day into my meditation. You don't, a lot of times when people meditate, and if they've had some sort of stressful situation during the day, they tend to start thinking about that stressful situation and try to solve it, essentially. And there is something to be said for taking a moment to reflect upon the events of the day and consider what you should do. But that's not what we do in meditation. So we begin the meditation with 3 breaths, and you just drop everything and just do the meditation. Whatever is going on, it will still, you can pick it up on the other side of the meditation. You can pick it up again, but during the meditation, we drop it. So let's. I'm going to get my gong. So we can be, you can't officially begin a meditation without a gong or a bell. So we're going to have our official gong to officially begin our meditation. And we have gonged ourselves into the official beginning, and we take 3 deep breaths and leave the day behind. Now we inhale and count the inhale and exhale for 1 second longer. Breathing in. I got 5, so I will breathe out for 6. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Out, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In, 2, 3, 4, 5. Out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In, 2, 3, 4, 5. Out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In, 2, 3, 4, 5. Out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on, and adjust it to whatever is comfortable for you. So I'm going to remain quiet for the rest of the time, and I leave it up to you to count your inhale, add a second, count your exhale. And remember, it doesn't have to be perfect. That would only add to your stress. This is about reducing stress. And let's begin. So we've been officially gonged out of the meditation. So a few times this week, a kind of a general subject came up. And when that happens, it tells me that that's something that I should talk about for the Friday nights. And it has to do with I guess the whole idea of seeking guidance from outside. I was asked, for example, one of the instances I was asked, do I ever use a pendulum or have I used a pendulum? And I told the person that I have in the past. I've done all that kind of thing. I've used pendulums, tarot cards, rune stones, and I have really wild stories about that. So I know that there is some utility in that kind of thing. And I mean, this was decades ago. I belong to, theosophy groups, ascension groups, and there were all kinds of practices along those lines that we did and practiced to develop skill at. But eventually I realized that all of those practices were about seeking outside and for the answer rather than going within for the answer, which in one sense is disempowering. But mainly what the main, I mean, I could say problem, but there's no, life unfolds as it unfolds, so there's no right or wrong. So you can't really say that it's wrong to do it. I just say that it could be distracting because it's not only about going outside for the answers, which is kind of disempowering. It is about doing rather than being. Doing a practice rather than being within. We tend to want to find the answers outside because we think the problems are outside. And that requires a doing. We are going, in order to find the answers outside to the problems that we think are outside, we're going to be doing something. And the truth is, the problems are inside and the answers are inside. But it's really just one answer. It is the I am consciousness. Doing takes you outside and diverts you away from the I am consciousness. Being practically or properly practiced is about going within to the I am consciousness, which is your true teacher. It's the only true teacher. And the purpose of any teacher out in the world is always to point you back to your own I am consciousness. Because it's only your own true inner teacher that can take you all the way home. No teacher out there in the world can take you all the way home. Only your own true inner guru, inner teacher can take you all the way home. And that is the I am consciousness. But and so the I am consciousness, though, is not the goal, the end goal. A lot of people think that the whole point of everything is to get to the I am, but the I am is just a portal, a doorway. The I am is the signpost, the pointer that will point you the rest of the way. But you have to get there first in order to get pointed the rest of the way. So a true teacher will always direct you inwardly to the I am consciousness, which is the true, your true inner teacher, and is the only teacher that can take you all the way. And so that is one reason why I do the talk after the meditation. The point of the meditation is to be. You can turn, it's very easy to turn a meditation into a doing. I am doing meditation. And so especially if you are aware of the fact that one purpose of the meditation is to go within and make contact with your own inner I am presence, your own inner teacher, who is the only teacher that can point the way home for you. And it's for you. It has to be for you. I could tell you word for word, step by step, exactly what my I am consciousness shared with me or directed me or pointed out for me, and it would be completely useless for you. It might give you kind of a general rough idea, but on the most part, for the most part, it would be useless. Everyone is going the path of their own I am. And so we the point of the meditation is to go within and be with the I am. And it's a being, not a doing. But if I tell you that first, before we do the meditation, then the meditation becomes very important. I have to do this right. I have to make contact with my inner I am so I can receive the way home. And then it becomes a doing. It becomes an efforting. So that's really the kernel, the core of every religion. What is usually termed the esoteric And all the great teachers are always pointing to that esoteric core. I mean, either teachers within any particular tradition, they will always point you back to that esoteric core, either by ignoring all the superfluous and irrelevant junk that just sort of accumulates over the centuries over the esoteric core. They might just ignore it, or they might proactively argue against it, telling you that that accumulation is not helpful, and that the central core is what you want to focus on. And the central core in all the religions is always go within, be with your inner presence. And be with the I am consciousness. And a lot of them will come right out and tell you that that is not the whole way, but once you get there, the I am will show you the rest of the way. And getting there, you know, it sounds like an activity, but it's actually a being there. When you're focused on the outside, when you're seeking answers from the outside via doing, that's an activity of mind. And it's mind which is actually the problem, the story making activity of mind. Which is like a hypnotic pattern that weaves a spell of illusion around reality. So you don't actually ever come into contact with reality. And anything which perpetuates that outwardly directed story-making activity is not really the answer. It's perpetuating the very thing that you're trying to cease, or it's perpetuating, it's seeking to solve the problem by perpetuating the problem, which is never going to work. And so there's a shift involved, a shift in consciousness. And so a lot of breathwork things are good for that. When I It's like tonight. Hopefully you noticed while you were breathing and thinking about your breathing and counting your inhale and counting your exhale. And that was all a kind of, it was all doing, you're doing this, you're doing that, but after a while it becomes automatic and you're not thinking about it anymore. You're not doing anything anymore. You simply are resting in an automatic process. And so that's also the point of the sacred breath that I do, which we spend, it takes an hour, hour and a half, and you're lying down, and it takes you to a deep shift in consciousness where you are simply being. You're no longer someone who, a person, a character in a dream who is doing things. You simply are. And it's a fundamental shift. And so when you are resting in that state of being, consciousness, then that's the beginning of becoming fully one with the I am. And it's a shift into a beingness, being one with the I am, and that's the portal, the doorway to the path that will take you all the way home. And so if you're looking for a path to take you home, it helps if you're looking in the right general direction, and looking outside is the exactly wrong general direction. Because the path is inside you. But it's all good because your inner teacher also knows this, and inside is the same as outside. Nirvana is the same as samsara. The outside is always a reflection of what's going on inside. So even when you are seeking the answers outside, which is the wrong place to be looking, because you think the problems are outside and they actually aren't. The inner teacher will work with what it has, and your answer from your tarot cards or whatever might well be the exact answer that's going to get you to a place in the outside world where you will receive the guidance, teaching, information, experience, relationship that will take you closer to eventually one day making contact with your I am consciousness. But if you're here at a Friday night Zoom, probably you're at the place in your life where you can most effectively use your time by focusing on going within, realizing that all of the problems are within and all of the solutions are within, and that it's all just a reflection of consciousness. And it's a kind of a tug of war between the consciousness of the mind, which is telling stories, narratives about how things are supposed to be and what's wrong with the way things are. All focused on seeing the problem as being out there and other people and otherwise. A tug of war between that consciousness and your inner presence, your inner teacher, your inner I am consciousness. Which is you and knows the truth. And so there's nothing really to do except to be that which you already are. And it can be, it's and being that which you already are is really ultimately it just comes down to not wanting to pretend anymore. So I'm thinking that was probably confusing as hell. I guess the takeaway is whatever you any people will anything can be an activity, but anything can also be a being. You can do meditation, but you can also be in meditation. And you can also do a tarot card reading, but you can also be in the tarot cards in the sense of using them as a meditative aid to a meditation where you are being rather than doing. That's not typically how it's done, of course. And typically, everything gets turned into an outer directed activity. Which can be, it's true, can be used by your I am consciousness to your benefit. But it is always more effective, more time. It's a more effective and efficacious use of your time to just skip all the in-between steps and go straight for being within. And don't turn being within into something that you do. Okay. That is everything for tonight. I hope you got some benefit out of this, and want to wish everyone a happy Friday night, and try to get some, make sure you get some fresh air. Thank you, everyone. Good night, everyone.